Hi guys, welcome to another weekly update. Well, this week I think we cannot go by without talking about what happened in Florida with the killing and everything. I think, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I think his heart is in the right place. The guy, by thinking that he could arm some teacher which would have the skills to own weapon, so they can have some weapon on them at all time. I think that's not a bad idea, but I think that the teacher by themselves, they won't accept this. First, they're not paid well enough in the US, that's for sure. So I don't think that it's something that it would be a burden to put that over them. I think they had enough problem just by teaching our youngster today. So I don't think it would be a good idea. I know, like I said, though, Trump heart is in the right place. He's trying to correct a big problem in the US, and nobody seems to know how to go about it. Well, I think it would be simple. Just put some armed guard in each schools. Listen, those people who attack the schools and do the killing, they're cowards. If they know that there's someone armed with weapons in the school, I think they're gonna think twice before going in and trying to kill someone, because they can be killed before they even kill someone. So I don't know, guys, but the only thing I find strange is that why is it such a problem to get rid of assault weapon? Who needs assault weapon? Okay, I know there's some people that say that you have to have it so you can defend against your government if something happened. It's in the Constitution. But what the hell? Nobody can defend themselves against the government. They have the military, they have everything, especially in the US. Most of the country on our planet cannot go against the US. So how can a small armed group could go against the government? That's crazy for me. I think that's really crazy. I think that at the base of it all, they should get rid of the assault weapon. Then they should have some mandatory course, to teach people how to handle weapon. It's not getting rid of a weapon. It's only getting rid of the assault weapon. If you're in the military or in the police, okay, so you can have an assault weapon. But for God's sake, if you're a simple citizen, why the heck would you have an assault weapon? If you only have a semi-automatic, a revolver, something like that, you don't need much. If the government wants to attack you with tanks and everything, you won't be able to defend yourself even if you have an assault weapon. But if you look at it the other way, if you have an assault weapon and you go crazy, well then, that's done with. We cannot change society, that's for sure. But it's a bit too late, because there's a lot of people out there that aren't right between the ears. So they already have assault weapons. So how can we go about it to get rid of to get off the end of those people the assault weapon? I don't know, even any kind of weapon. Can you imagine some people are on the no-fly list on airplanes and they can still have weapon? So for me, my way of thinking is that if they're dangerous to go up in a plane, well, for God's sake, they must be dangerous with a weapon. I don't know, guys, but I think there's some kind of there's a way to go about it. First is the damn weapon, this assault weapon. I don't know why people still defend the right to have assault weapon. I don't understand that. I know the argument is that they want to stand in case in front of their government, but come on, the government have every weapon in the world, so it won't make a difference. See, it's like having a pea shooter, but that damn pea shooter of an assault weapon against civilians, though, in a school, well, that's crazy. So anyway, guys, I think at least they should do something about the assault weapon and put some armed guards in the schools. I think that the basis of everything. At least if I was a US citizen, and my child would go to school. Well, listen, with everything that happened, I think I would stay near the school with a weapon, just in case. Because, you know what? When we send our children to school, the basis of everything is that we want them to be safe, and we want them to return at night. So, it's a never-ending argument. I don't know why it's getting to be an argument. I think you only have to use logic. Again, guys, I don't know. It's just frustrating when you see all those young people getting killed and nothing really happens. Well, let's hope it does, though, because I think there's a lot of people who want to change things, but NRA is really too strong. I think they don't want to change nothing. And even in Florida, there was a lot of talk about it, and last week there was a vote to try and change the law, and they voted against it. So I think the lobbying, you know, money is getting around. So that's why everybody shut their mouth and do nothing when they're up there in the government. Well, that's crazy. Anyway, and to change an old guy I wanted for a few, well, first of all, as you can see, I still have that damn cold, but that's getting crazy also. Can you imagine, just last week, I think, there's a teacher, a woman who fell because she was ill. She had double pneumonia, and she was so sick that they had to carry her in an ambulance to the hospital, and she put on breathing apparatus, you know. So that's crazy. I think we have to get worried about everything, I guess, unfortunately, because even the weather is getting into the game, and the game is not good for us, because I think it reached epidemic proportion. So I think it's a shame. I think we have to do something about it, but what can we do against the weather of nature? I don't know, but something's going on, and you know, everything seems to be just on the verge of something, but we don't know what. Even with the politics, geopolitics, it's crazy. But what can we do? That brings me to what I wanted to talk to you about, my main subject. You know, a few years ago, I had a store, antique store, for a few years, but it didn't work out. But in those times, I did sell a lot of antiques. And a friend of my father, who he didn't speak English. He worked in Montreal, in the part where most of the people living there are English. And the guy over there, he was an electrician. He had his own company. And the guy, I'm talking to you about something like in the 60s. And the person who he was working for asked him to get rid of everything in the attic. So which he did. And in those was a Bible, but a big one Bible. I'm going to show it to you. That's crazy. And he never opened it because, like I say, he didn't speak English. So for him, it was all gibberish. He couldn't understand a word what it was saying. So one day he called me, and he said, because he knew that I was buying and selling antiques. So he called me and said, hey, listen, Michel, I have a Bible. I don't. But in those times, I was a bit reluctant because I didn't want to sell religious object, because I didn't feel right about it to exchange money for it. But listen, I think it was between the head, because no matter if you can bring some happiness to someone by bringing them what they want, why not? So anyway, I went and see this, and when I saw it, I said, the hell with it, I'm going to have to buy it. I never saw something like that, this beautiful. So I bought it. Excuse me. I brought it home, and at that time, my grandmother, which she was a great lady, she died, she was 104, can you imagine? And she was a very religious person. When we opened the Bible, as you can see, there was ton of information about the people who own this Bible. Probably the man that who Mr. Laroche, because he was called Mr. Laroche, his name, he was working for the guy in Montreal I was telling you about. Well, probably it was between somewhere in his family, but we never knew. But he asked him, "There's a Bible in it. Do you still do you want it back?" He said, "Oh no, keep it, keep it." But I think even him didn't know what was inside. But can you imagine? Picture, it's a Bible that was given to a family, probably a rich family in Richmond, Quebec. It was a Bible because in those days it was something that was usual to give a Bible to a newlywed couple. So imagine they wed in 1880. Can you imagine? That's crazy. And when I opened it with my grandmother and everyone in the house, in the family, we were stunned. Can you look at it? We have the picture, we have everything. We had the picture of the couple. There is even a page where the birth and the death are listed. Can you imagine? We can see each member of the family who was born and when he died. There's a Lewinsky. I think at the end, I'm not sure about the name anymore. I didn't look at it for a few years now. I reached out on a Gen forum, and the guy contacted me. He was, imagine, one of the, it was his ancestor, but from his mother side. So he contacted me. I told him he was living near where I was living at the time. And I said to him, well, if you're interested, just if you don't want to buy it, but at least if you want to see it, it's your family history in this. There's even a picture, a photo, and every member. There's one thing that, in particular, that is strange. There's a death. They were about in their 30s or late 20s, 4 members of the family who died on the same day. We never knew how, what happened. That's strange. I would love to know what happened to those people, because the 4 of them died. Well, you're going to see, I don't remember what date it was, but all on the same day. So it must have been an accident or a fire, which was common at the time. So anyway, the guy in question called me. I told him everything that was to be told about this Bible. I told him, well, come over and at least come and take a look at it. He never came. I don't understand that, because if it would have been me in the same situation that he was, I would have given everything just to see it. So anyway, some people are interested and some people are not, but it's not because of the Bible. It's not only because of the Bible, because the Bible by itself has got values, but nothing compared to the content of it, with the history of it. It's you know, once near my place in a mall, there was some antique people who were evaluating books. So I did bring my Bible to the guy and I showed it to him. He said, I never saw that before. I never saw such a thing. I cannot put a price on it because it's something that should be in a museum. So can you imagine? So that was a nice find. I tried to sell it about, I would say 15 years ago on eBay, because at one point I was selling a lot of stuff on eBay. I was not a power seller, of course, but I think I had something like 300 positive feedback, none negative. So it was kind of nice. I did like the experience. Well, it was more than that. I think I was an eBay seller in the 2020, 01, something like that, 2002. Around that, maybe in the end of 1999, something like that. So I did like it, but at what point, you know, like everything else and in what happened in our modern times, some people, some power sellers would buy a big chunk of a Chinese product, and we couldn't compete with that, so I had to stop. But one time, someone offered me amount for this Bible, but I couldn't accept it. you know, I keep it, unfortunately, or not, because I don't mind. I'm an atheist. So, but you know, just the value of it, I respect everyone and the belief of everyone, because as most of the people, when I was young, we went to the church every Sunday. That it was crazy. It was, you know, it was almost a thing to control the people. I was afraid, you know, because they made us afraid of the religion. God, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, God's gonna punish you, and it wasn't a good way to go about it. Even I think until I was about 8 years old or 9 years old, I would do my prayer before going to bed. So I think, especially here in Quebec, we went from one way to the other, you know. We went all the way to the church and the belief and everything, and all the way to not believe in it, you know. So anyway, like I said, that Bible meant a lot to me, because I can appreciate art, and I can appreciate the history that was in it. The history that incredible, that was something else. So anyway, guys, if somebody out there is interested, well, they're gonna have to communicate with me in private, and we're gonna talk about it, because I don't mind keeping it. You know, it's in a drawer somewhere, and I try to keep it. It's well wrapped, so it's well preserved. So anyway, if someone out there is interested, I would. It would be nice, because I would like it to go to a nice place where this piece of history can be appreciated. So guys, we're gonna hope for the best. We're gonna hope that everything's gonna turn out fine in the US. Let's hope that the crazy people gonna stop and not go around killing people. Well, that's a hope that I'm not sure we can be sure on, but we have to still hoping. So guys, on that note, I hope you enjoy. I hope, like always, you're gonna come back, and thanks for coming back, and thanks for watching. I hope that you're gonna leave a comment. Like always, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share. It's always appreciated. So take care, guys. See you in the next video. Ciao.